What's up guys, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos, and let's get started. So today I am sharing with you guys swatches of the much anticipated SinfulColors Vacay Vibes collection for summer 2021, and let me tell you, I've got some thoughts on them. But before we get into it, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare, which is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your creativity. They have a ton of classes in a variety of different topics, from photography, music, videography, illustration, fine arts, to marketing, lifestyle, productivity. Really, there are just so many options, and it's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. I am constantly taking new classes, honestly, in a variety of different topics on Skillshare, but I recently started a class by Thomas Frank called Productivity for Creatives: Build a System that Brings Out Your Best. And I highly recommend it for anyone who's working in a creative field or anyone who's an entrepreneur or aspiring to be their own boss. There have just been a lot of really great tips for optimizing your workflow. He actually talked about the 20-second rule, which I feel like was such a light bulb moment for me. I had never heard of it before, and I definitely want to start using that rule in my everyday life just to kind of hone in on my productivity and keep out things that are not necessarily helping me be a better and more productive person. But yeah, Skillshare has been a really great learning tool for me. It's something I actually bought for myself before I ever started working with them, so I really recommend it to people who are looking to expand their horizons. So the first 1,000 people to click on the link in my description will actually get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Like I said, I just can't recommend it enough. I think it's just a really great learning tool. So thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, but let's move on to the nail polish. So I was really excited by this collection when I first saw it. The colors are super gorgeous. It's actually divided in half, so we have 3 creams and then we have 3 shimmers that are really beautiful contrasting colors, and that's something that I absolutely love, so I was really into those. But I ended up finding myself a little disappointed in some of them, but I don't want to spoil this video, so let me just go ahead and dive right into the swatches, and then I'll share a little bit more on my thoughts and the availability of the products, so roll footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am going to be using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Cuccio base coat, so I'll link it down below. So we'll start off with the shimmers of the collection, which I absolutely loved. This first one is called Colada Mama, and it is a really beautiful burnt orange that leans almost brown, and then it has a really intense golden shimmer running throughout. And I absolutely love this color. Not only do I think it's a really good summery, especially vacation kind of color, but it also has all of those autumn, fall leaves coloring in there. So I feel like this is going to be a perfect transitional color into the colder weather. It was perfect opacity in 2 coats. It did have a tiny bit of streakiness, but I feel like that kind of faded away as the polish dried, so it looked super gorgeous on the nails. Next up we have Mushy Gushy Mango, and this is another one I was really excited about. It's this really beautiful golden yellow base, and then the shimmer in this one is actually a super vibrant pink color. So I really love those contrasting shimmers. They're my absolute favorite thing in the world. This one, I feel like I definitely could do 2 coats if I wanted to wear it as a sort of sheer, almost jelly-like color. You still get a little bit of that visible nail line though. I know not everybody is into that, even though I totally am. So I applied a 3rd coat just to show you guys what that looks like as a fully opaque color, and I think this also looks gorgeous. It definitely does have that mango coloring to it, so I think it's really beautiful. I love that contrasting shimmer. It doesn't show up very well on camera, but it's very vibrant and present on the nails, so just another one I totally loved. Next up we have the shade Pretty Papaya, and this one was my absolute favorite out of all of the shimmers in this collection. It's just such a beautiful, bold orange base. It almost has a little bit of this like reddish tone going on, and then it has this really intense gold shimmer running throughout. This was another one that was 2 coats on me. Pretty much the majority of this collection was 2 coaters on me, but one thing to keep in mind is I do have pretty short nails, so if your nails are longer than mine, you might need to go in with a 3rd or even a fourth coat. The formulas are pretty thin. Since this is the Quick Bliss line, they do dry super fast and they are fairly thin, but this one I absolutely loved. It was self-leveling, it was gorgeous, it was perfect. So moving into the cream shades of the collection, which I honestly did not love as much. This first one is called Lychee Bikini, and this was where I really started to have my problems with it. Because this is a quick drying line, you have to work super fast, otherwise the polish is going to start drying, and it's not necessarily self-leveling. So with this first swatch, I really didn't realize how quickly it was drying. So you can see there was a lot of streakiness, there was a little bit of lumpiness. The color itself is a really beautiful, very orangey toned pink shade, but the lack of self-leveling was definitely a struggle. Now this will go away if you use top coat, but if you're too lumpy in some areas, you're probably going to have some patchiness, so just keep that in mind. So next up we have the shade Dragon Fruity. This is actually a very similar color to Lychee Bikini, but this one is a more cooler toned, almost neon pink shade. And this one, I did two things to make it a little bit easier. One, I applied it a lot quicker, so I worked in fewer strokes. And two, I had more polish on the brush than I really needed because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't using such a thin layer that it would dry immediately. So I think that definitely helped a lot. Probably not as beginner friendly as the regular SinfulColors nail polish line, but I did find that those two tips definitely helped make the process a little bit smoother and easier for me. And lastly, we have Schmexy Starfruit. And first of all, can I just say that name is really giving me like early 2000s vibes, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But this color I was actually really excited about, and I was sorely disappointed in how it ended up performing on me. It's this really beautiful chartreuse, avocado, Shrek green kind of cream color going on here, and I just kept on applying coats and it was really not giving me that full opacity. I was definitely working a little bit quicker, so it was more self-leveling, but even after the third coat, I still saw some patchiness around my cuticle area. So I did try a fourth coat just to see if that would help, and it still had a tiny bit of patchiness. So I'm probably not going to wear this one as a full manicure. I just feel like it's a little too much effort, but I still think I'm probably going to end up using it for nail art. The color itself is super gorgeous, but yeah, it didn't work for me on the full nail. So here are all of the polishes side by side. You can see that top row is the shimmers and the bottom row is the creams. I definitely recommend the shimmers. I thought they performed really well. They were definitely self-leveling, easy to work with, and the colors and those beautiful shimmers within them are really gorgeous on the nail. The creams on the bottom, I'm not so sure how I feel about them. Definitely disappointed in Schmexy Starfruit, and I did have a hard time with application for Lychee Bikini. I do think that the more that I use them, I'm gonna have probably an easier time, but just overall, I didn't think they were the best performing creams. So those are the polishes, and like I said, I just feel like this collection was a little bit hit and miss for me. I absolutely loved the shimmers. I think they're so gorgeous, and like I always say, I just really love that contrasting shimmer when the color of the actual shimmer in the polish is different from the base color, and especially when they're like very contrasting shades. I just absolutely love that. And in fact, the shade Pretty Papaya did make it into my top summer favorites, so if you're interested, I do have a whole video on that. As far as the creams, they were definitely not my favorite. They are part of that Quick Bliss line, meaning they do dry in under a minute, so I feel like that really came at the cost of the self-levelingness of the polish. Just for me, I don't love polishes that don't self-level. It's not something that I like to recommend, especially to beginners, just because I feel like sometimes it can be really difficult to work with shades like that. However, I will say I do still think that the products are good for the price you pay. I tend to be a lot more forgiving when it comes to drugstore polishes, especially when they're under that $5 price point, just because I love the accessibility of it. I love that people are able to just go to the drugstore and grab the colors that they want. And honestly, SinfulColors is really one of my top favorites. I think they create such inventive polishes. They do very unique collections, and having that at a drugstore price is just really awesome. So I am a little bit more forgiving when their formulas aren't great, just because I do love the colors and I just love their collections in general. So yeah, like I said, hit and miss. Honestly, I'll probably still use these polishes, but I think I'm probably just gonna stick to using them for nail art, where it doesn't matter as much if they are self-leveling, rather than wearing them as just full solid manicures. However, However, I'm definitely wearing the shimmers a lot because they're stunning. So these polishes are available in a lot of stores. Generally, it's best to find them in person. However, if you do want to order them online, I saw they're available in the full pack of 6 on Walmart's website, and those retail for $11.80 USD, so you're paying under $2 per bottle. So I'll link that one down in the description. I haven't seen them available online for individual purchase, but if I do, I will update that in the description as well. But yeah, so that is it for my thoughts, but I would love to hear from you guys. I know a bunch of you have already picked up these shades. I want to know your thoughts on them. If you had the same non-self-leveling experience as me, or if you found them to be a lot easier to work with than I may have. And if you haven't picked them up, are you planning to? Are there any that catch your eye? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Once again, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And if you do want that free 1-month trial, you can click on the link in my description. Huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Braxton Scott, Rainbow J, and Jessica Taylor. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Ivrea, and Ivrea wants to know, have you ever had a different hair length or done a big chop? And this is actually a great question because I feel like the entirety of my being on YouTube, I've basically played around with having the same hair length. I mean, obviously I do trim it, so I'll be a few inches shorter or longer just depending on how short I cut it. I usually go to like great clips or supercuts just to get my hair trimmed down, but since everything happened in 2020, I've actually been doing it myself and it's been going pretty well. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing any more serious cuts to my hair. I'm just kind of getting the dead ends off, but yes, I actually used to keep my hair significantly longer. It used to actually go down all the way to my waist, basically touching my butt, and I had it that length for a really long time. So I occasionally would cut it and then just let it grow back out long again, but I really liked having that super long length. And I think I cut it probably right around when I graduated college. I started wearing it a little bit shorter, and to be honest, I really prefer it shorter. I think long hair is beautiful on a lot of people. For me personally, I just think the medium length hair works a lot better for a couple of reasons. One, I do straighten my hair and it really used to take it still takes so long, but it used to take insanely long for me to straighten my hair. Like, it literally would have to dedicate several hours per week to just straightening my hair. But the other thing, which I feel like is arguably more important, is I feel like it made me look a lot smaller and shorter. I don't know what it is about having really long hair that can make a person look really short, but I'm not really short. I'm actually fairly tall. I'm 5'7". I'll put the centimeters here. I don't know if that's the general unit of measuring oneself, but for those of you guys who use the metric system, maybe you'll get a general idea. But yeah, like I said, I'm fairly tall. I feel like, I don't know, I just didn't like the idea of my hair kind of making me look really short. I kind of like being tall. Actually, I feel like I'm kind of average sized, average height. Those two reasons, and also, you know, me starting to actually bleach my hair and lighten it instead of just putting darker colors on top of it, which is what I used to do. I just felt like it would probably be easier to maintain if it was shorter, just so that I could trim it for any parts that were like getting unhealthy with the bleach. I just feel like it was a lot easier for maintenance that way. But yeah, also just because I wanted to look taller. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.